We'll start with a roll call. David Arnsdorf.
Here.
Paul Darling.
Here.
Hugh Flack.
Here.
Bob Hart.
Here.
Ken Winters. Staff Glenn Dempsey. Mark Howell.
Here.
Kristen Larkham. Michael Redman.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. First, I guess we want to see what the meeting is, I guess, probably.
Yeah, so what we should do first is see a motion to have a sitting chairman for this meeting, since between the four of us,
Okay.
of you.
I haven't done that before, so.
I move to have Paul Darling act as sitting chairman for this meeting. You got a second?
I think the microphones are off also.
You have to put-
Yeah. Press.
There we go.
Oh, it has to,
Here we go.
Oh,
The
that's
green
it.
light will be on.
Oh.
There you go.
okay, all
Awesome.
right, good.
Is it being recorded?
I
It should be on CTN.
And and I think that they need the microphones on to capture.
Okay. Do we have it now?
So yeah, I see microphones on now.
Okay, but the screen isn't on.
Oh,
Is it being
Not
recorded?
showing up on the TV though.
on the TVs. Well, I don't know how that works.
This one's only camera's on, it's like, maybe it's.
That's got a red light too.
CTN, if you're watching, wiggle the cameras. Okay. In the meantime, if you, when you're finished filling out your oath of office cards, I will take them. It's fine. I guess there was some question whether or not CTN was on and recording.
But
Okay.
our channel's messed up right now. It keeps flickering in and out, but you guys are live streaming at YouTube.
Wonderful.
It's on the channel, but it doesn't look good.
Okay.
Wait, it doesn't
Okay.
look, it doesn't
Story
look
of my
good?
life.
That's all, I think all the confirmation that we needed. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Mark. Yep. Okay,
Okay.
Do you want us to hand these cards into you?
sure. After the meeting's fine.
Okay.
Do we read,
So we had
do
a
the
motion of a acting, or sitting chairperson, and a second.
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 All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I'll be acting chairman for the, this meeting of June 20th, 2019. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Anything you want to add or modify in the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the February 21st, 2019 minute, 2019 meeting. Any comments on that minutes?
No.
Get a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those are approved. Appeals and action and show cause hearings. The first item on the agenda is BBA 19002 at 1213 West Washington Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Is there someone here to speak on that appeal? Please come up and sign in. State your name.
There's no sign-in sheet.
We can get you on.
Okay.
I can sign the desk.
And tell us a little bit about your appeal.
I'll grab a sheet. Sure. Hi, my name is Chris Allen. I'm the architect for the project, here representing the owners, Don Siegel and Annette Ostling. The project is an existing single-family home. They're doing a renovation in addition to the home. And as part of the project, they want to enlarge the kitchen window. I'm sure you've had an opportunity to look at the information. The window right now is a smaller size window, wood window, older casement style. And they want to enlarge the window. The wall is 2 feet 4 inches from the property line. Therefore, according to the code, openings are not allowed. However, we're proposing a 1 hour rated window, UL tested and approved. by FireTech. It's a steel window, it has ceramic glass in it. Again, 1 hour rated. The wall is required to have a 1 hour rating at that distance, therefore, we believe the window being equivalent at 1 hour will provide the 1 hour barrier that we need in that location. I've talked to the manufacturer. They send a lot of these windows to California where you know you have wildfires and such. So there are other areas where this window is used, I think, for similar situations. I think we have a situation here where we're not increasing the nonconformity, we're actually making something more safe. The existing window is unrated in wood. The new window will be steel and rated with ceramic glass. It'll be a 1 hour rating. So I think what we're doing here is making this area more safe. So I'm hoping the Building Board of Appeals will consider that. I think that's why we have Building Board of Appeals for situations just like this, where we have a situation where I'm not proposing something out of the blue or designing something that I'm coming up with. This is a UL tested assembly that's 1 hour rated for similar situations. And I think it's more safe than what they have there right now. So that's the extent of my comments and the gist of what I want to propose to or say to the Building Board of Appeals. And
Okay.
at this point,
Okay.
I can have a discussion back and forth, or do I sit down, or what do you?
So the next step will be, we'll have a staff recommendation report, and then the board will ask questions of, if they have any questions for the
Okay.
applicant.
Thank you.
So staff, we have a report.
My name's Mark Hall, I'm the Deputy Building Official, City of Ann Arbor. As Mr. Allen just stated, the applicant is in the process of designing a renovation project at the 1213 West Washington. They wish to enlarge an existing non-conforming opening, a window, on the first floor of the west elevation. The non-conformance is due to the fact that the existing window is within 2 feet 4 inches of the property line. This is in violation of Table R 302.11 of the 2015 Michigan Residential Code, which governs the project. The table states, no openings are allowed on a wall that has a fire separation distance of less than 3 feet. Code interpretation, per the 2015 Michigan Residential Code, Appendix J, Section AJ 501, alterations, AJ 501.2, nonconformities. The work shall not increase the extent of noncompliance or create nonconformity due to those requirements that did not previously exist. Staff recommendation. Staff recommends not improving the enlargement of the existing nonconforming opening as it would produce a larger hazard to the occupants due to the opening's proximity to the property line as a not code-compliant fire separation distance of at least 3 feet. Openings, whether the glazing is fire-rated or not, would not be allowed within 3 feet of the property line. This would not be an equivalent or better form of construction as it is not allowed.
Thank you. Any other staff want to comment? Okay. The board, does have any questions for the applicant?
Would you have any objection if the window wasn't an operable window, but a fixed window?
No objection to that. Could you please come back up? Oh, I'm sorry. That was very helpful.
I would have no objection to being a fixed window.
Okay. The other question I have is, has the window been tested, or is there any documentation that this particular window was tested as part of a wall assembly?
I don't know. I only have the manufacturer information. I don't know what the testing method was.
Okay. Would you be averse to using another manufacturer that can do, provide the same capabilities as
No.
this one? No?
I'm assuming you have one in mind?
Well, I don't want to prejudice your decision on things or tell you that what I have in mind or what I've come across will, fit your particular situation. I guess the way I understand, after sort of researching this a little bit, the way I understand this is that if this is considered part of a wall assembly, and it's not subject to being classified as a protected opening or a window or an opening protective, that you can in fact have a glazed condition at a lot line window. I mean, it happens all the time, and I think previously we've agreed to allow to have certain lot line windows installed. Usually it's in a commercial building where there's a sprinkler system that's backing it up. But the way I understood this is that if the window assembly is tested as part of a rated wall assembly, that would provide the equivalent fire rating protection as the rated wall without a window, where no openings are permitted.
It still counts as an opening, and the challenge is you're gonna have a hard time finding a rating for a wood stud wall with without insulation and no drywall on the outside and wood siding and with a rated window. Maybe you could find one, but it may be difficult, about if it was built new.
Well, they're putting drywall on the inside of the existing
Yeah,
wall.
it might be new board there, yeah, it'll be rated from one side, the inside maybe.
Well, I guess that's the question. In putting the drywall on the lot line wall, let's say, was that something that improved the rating of the wall or brought the wall up to code, or how did that part come about?
Well,
Or
you
was
put
it
the
just-
drywall on the interior side of the wall?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we want to make the wall, obviously, it's within 5 feet, so we want to make that as fireproof as possible, so we decided to go with the 5-inch setbacks on that wall. So,
did the building department accept that as having
I don't-
created a proper rating?
it
for
just
the
got
wall?
its permit, so I didn't see any comments, so I can't say whether or not there were comments about that, but we did receive a building permit with those drawings.
So it was Type-X chipboard you're putting up on that wall, or just
Yeah.
normal chipboard?
Type X, yeah.
Type-X, okay. What we've also done in the past, and this kind of into play with a little bit of the commercial was, is that what's happening on the adjacent property, because the reason that we want to protect the opening is what happens on your property and how that affects the adjacent property. So if their building was 3 feet off the property line, the risk of fire spreading has increased. The fact that the adjacent house has a fairly good-sized yard there, open space, not that they couldn't build closer to the property line, the risk of fire spreading one to the other is reduced.
So that was my next question. Is the 31 feet or the 30 feet that's from the one house to this property line, is that an unbuildable zone? Is it the equivalent of like a rear yard setback?
They could build closer, probably has to be 1 hour rated or whatever rated. There could be no openings in it, though. Could be a wall with, block wall with 0 openings.
Except if the zoning doesn't permit you to
We're
build.
not that close anymore, yeah.
Right, I guess that's my question. Is the whatever building that's right along that property line, but on the other property, is it constrained by the fact that they can't
Get that close
encroach on
anyways.
that 30-foot
Yeah,
line? Because
Yeah.
if they can't,
yeah.
I mean, in effect, you've got,
That looks like a
Much
side
bigger
setback, so
separation.
maybe it could be 5 or 10 feet, but, maybe. We've also done in the past is that something happens in the adjacent property, you modify your window that can bring it up to code, and
If
that's
you-
a little tricky to do.
Yeah. They have a garage on the south side of their house right now. and a fairly large house. So on the satellite image, you can see that. So could they build something over that way? Yeah, highly unlikely though, I think, based on what they have right now.
Yeah. So now you're kind of looking over there, a fairly sizable side yard, it looks
Yeah.
like. Is there a fence between those two right now?
Yeah.
Like a wood fence or a
Um,
combustible fence or no fence?
There's no fence where the window is. As you head towards the rear yard, though, there is a fence there.
Okay, further back, all right.
Yeah,
And that's the fence owned by the 1213 property?
I believe so, yeah.
It almost looks like that fence is owned by the 1213 property, yeah.
Yeah, just the way the
Yeah,
line's drawn.
on the site plan, you can see the existing fence is within their property line area.
Uh-huh.
So it sounds like a window that can't be opened, but.
Well, yeah, because
carry the-
I mean, the way I understand it again is that if it's a fixed piece, if it's a fixed rated window, but it's part of a rated wall assembly, it would be fine. The problem is that this wall assembly that's, even though it's being improved, may not have a rating, and there may not be any test for an existing wood stud wall that's got, just the layer of drywall. What is it, plaster now?
I get
Yeah,
the
so
vintage of the
just
house.
having one side of the wall being rated, because then you start getting into like preferred rating
Side-
situations,
you can remove either side.
which is the fire side and which isn't. And
Yeah.
I think the idea here is to protect it from the external side.
So the code, it sounded like the code was written so that you don't transfer the fire from your house to the neighbor next door,
Could be both. It
Could be either way.
or either way.
It doesn't determine, it doesn't speak to that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have a lot more confidence in the window if it was a fixed window, just so you're not relying on
Being closed in a fire application.
on a fusible link or what have you,
Yeah.
to actually activate the window. And, over time, who knows how reliable the fusible link would be.
A little dirt in the wrong spot or a little corrosion in the wrong spot.
Well,
Or
yeah,
paint it over.
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah, we're more than happy to do a fixed window,
okay.
if that makes this amenable.
And just once again, we don't know whether the yard between 1215 and this property is a sacrosanct setback, that, like a rear yard where you can't
Well,
build into it.
it's like it faces Washington Street, because that has two streets.
Right,
It's gonna have two fronts, so,
so is
Is
this
that the
considered the
rear?
rear yard?
yeah, I don't know, that's a good question, is that a rear or a side? If it's a rear, it's gonna be pretty hard to build anything there, but.
So if 1215 applied for an addition to the side of their house, would the building department possibly pick up the fact that, so you might authorize an improvement whatever?
If we had that, big enough, make it comply, or put a smaller window in, or no window, take the window out, would be fully compliant. I mean, there are residential sprinkler systems too, you could put one residential sprinkler head in there too, if you're worried about it from burning from one to the other side. That's a level of protection of
Unfortunately, the stove is on the same wall as the window.
There's no window there, though, so it helps.
You don't have any issues with the second floor addition?
No,
No, it's like set back slightly.
yeah, we set that back 5 feet to avoid several issues, such as this one.
No motion?
Okay. Yes? Okay. I move that in the matter of BBA 19-002, the appeal for variance from the 2015 Michigan Residential Code, Table R 302.1, parentheses 1, for the proposed renovation project at 1213 West Washington is granted because the board finds that maintaining the existing non-conforming window rather than enlarging it as proposed results in exceptional practical difficulty to the applicant and the owners. And the board further finds that the performance of the proposed enlarged window will be adequate for its intended use, provided that it is a fixed, rated glazing assembly, and in that regard does not substantially deviate from the performance required by the code for the health, safety, and welfare of the people of this state, and that the specific condition claimed by the applicant and the owners that justifies the variance would be considered neither general nor recurrent in nature.
Second? Or any discussion?
One question. Do you want to put a time rating on it? Do you want an hour rating rather than just rated?
I think it was.
It was
wasn't
specified
it?
as 1 hour.
Specified as, okay,
In their piece, but I just wondered if you wanted to include that as well.
If it would make sense, yeah.
Sure.
Is it 60-minute, 45-minute?
60 minute.
Minimum
It was
This
We-
three-quarter hour rating.
Propose a 60 minutes, so we'll do a 60-minute.
a 60-minute
Fixed,
rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, limited by the glass, yeah. Do you want
So,
to put in this, any limitation, the fact that it has a large open yard next to it? If something happens with that yard, that's kind of weighing into a factor that it's not adjacent, there's nothing, present risk right next to it.
Part of the
I
problem
would
is
if
we
I had
have
any
no control.
confidence that
Yeah.
that 30-yard setback would be maintained. I mean, when we did this previously,
I don't think we need 30 feet, we would just need about 3, and we need 6 feet, because it's 3 feet off either side of the property line, so I would say 6 feet from here to any adjacent structure.
Yeah, but without knowing exactly what's required there, we don't know what we'd potentially have, do we?
Well, I mean, if they're saying 3 feet, the code came up with a 3 feet rule, and
Right.
so if you double that, that's how close they could build, and anything within, they could build something on their side without, as long as it's not within,
Right, but unless we somehow put some limitation in their deed, there's no way to enforce
I
that on
don't,
the
yeah, I don't
tracker.
think we can, I don't know that we can start putting limitations on,
Yeah,
Somebody
not
who's
not their
part of-
property,
yeah.
but we've had it made it so that the applicant has to bring it up to comply with code if something does happen on the adjacent property, which is also difficult to
enforce,
enforce or come back with, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think this is reasonable I think this is a reasonable approach as it is. It doesn't seem to me that we don't make the situation worse. In fact, we actually probably make it better.
so the only addendum to item B would be the provision that that the window assembly be fixed and rated to a 60-minute rating.
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is passed.
Great, thank you very much for your consideration. Appreciate it.
Any old business? Any new business? Any reports and communications? Any public commentary? We have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All right, we are adjourned. Are those in favor, I should say? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.